My biggest concern with the Cowboys is Dak Prescott. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. He's got the shoulder problem. I don't know how he's going to come back off the ankle injury that he had last year. And he hasn't played one preseason game.
What does that mean? So because he hasn't played one preseason game,
he's practiced, but he hasn't gotten He's
getting his reps at practice.
Yeah, I know that, but
they're protecting him.
Game thing is different. It's totally different.
They're protecting him. If anything, it's good for him. Yes,
they're protecting him, but he still should have seen at least a couple of snaps in the preseason.
So that's it. That was your whole AFC.
But that's my whole
the NFC. Your whole NFC East. That's all you got to say about the NFC East.
What else you want me to say? The Giants don't have a good quarterback in Daniel Jones. He's not their answer. Barkley, hasn't played 2 years almost. So
pretty much, yeah.
So you don't know what you're going to get from him. He's very injury prone, and the Redskins, they have the best part about them is their defense.
Okay. That's the Bees' thoughts of the NFC East. Go ahead, Speedy.
All right, so I'm going to take the Giants and the Eagles are going to be tied for last. I kind of like 6-win teams. The Eagles will give the tiebreaker because the Giants always struggle in division. The Eagles with a lot of weaknesses on their defense in particular. No Jim Schwartz anymore, which aided them, so they have a new defensive coordinator. They have a good pass rush. They have Darius Slay, but again, a lot of question marks everywhere else. That offense is a lot of new pieces all at once. It can be good, depending on how good this coach is. I think they'll show flashes, but unless they get Deshaun Watson, they're not going to be a playoff team this year. And the Giants, they have strengths on defenses. I think it'll regress a little. They still don't have a great edge rusher. They still don't have a linebacker that can consistently cover. That's a little concerning. That secondary is very good, though. That'll win them some games. But like Beav was saying, that offense is very concerning, especially with Saquon Barkley being up and down with injury. Kenny Golladay, I don't trust to stay healthy either. Washington, or the Cowboys, their offense is great. Their defense is horrible. And so they're going to win games against easy teams, NFC South teams maybe, and steal some in this division maybe with the schedule that they have, and some iffy defenses in the AFC West. They'll be like their average 8-9 in this case. Maybe 8-1. Maybe they'll get a tie just to go 8-8. But the Cowboys, they're pretty obvious what their strengths are. They're just overpaying a bunch of players. And Washington, I think, will win the division 9-8, 10-7, something like that. I think the offense has gotten a little bit better. Their defense is obviously loaded. Now they added William Jackson in the mix as well. They added a couple more linebackers to help out that depth. They get Landon Collins back. And the offense got a little better, bringing in Curtis Samuel. Antonio Gibson, a second year in the system, I think will definitely help them. Your fantasy running back, Beeve, so you better hope he does well. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick, even though if he won't be great all year, he'll steal some games. So I think Washington wins the division. I'll say 9-8.
Very, very interesting. Okay, my NFC East is pretty simple right now. I think Washington wins the division. I think this year they can win up to 10 games. Their defense is one of the best in the league. I say they could be a top 5, top 6 defense. They have a great pass rush. Their secondary is definitely well improved. Their offense is even better. They bring in Fitzpatrick. I think Fitzpatrick, being that it's a first year playing as the starting quarterback for the Washington Redskins, Washington football team, he's going to be a better quarterback than the Washington football team's had since really Kirk Cousins. We look at the quarterbacks they've had. So I really like Washington in this division. I think they're going to be very explosive offensively. They have 2 good wide receivers. They brought one from Carolina in the offseason. So I think they're going to be very explosive as well. And a very good tandem running backs, too. So I think Washington is going to be dangerous. I think they win the division either 10 or 9 wins. Second team would be the Cowboys. They could be a wild card team. I don't know what they are. I don't know what Ezekiel Elliott is going to be this year. Zeke looks really, really very good in Hard Knocks. He looks like he lost a lot of weight, very light on his feet. I want to see Zeke really be explosive this year. And Mike McCarthy's offense, we all know about Mike McCarthy's offense. It's not really fit for running backs. It's more for wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, obviously Amari Cooper. We expect these guys to be explosive. But what bothers me right now when you look at the Cowboys is the defense. Their secondary, they have Diggs, a second-year player. We don't know what he is. We don't know what the secondary is going to be. They have a lack of safeties, and their linebackers, they have too many of them. We don't know who's starting, who's not, who's playing, who's not. We know Micah Parsons is going to be explosive, but how good is he going to be in the NFL coming from Penn State? And if he can keep his mouth shut, which I've seen on Hard Knocks, he doesn't know how to do. So that's going to be a huge problem for the Cowboys moving forward. If Mike McCarthy can't get this team in the playoffs for a second year in a row, he's going to be gone. I would say the Giants, the third team in the division, we all know what the Giants are defensively. We know they're going to blitz. We know they're going to. Their strength is in the middle of their defense. Their front seven is very good. Dexter Lawrence is really, really good. We all know about Leonard Williams. He's been very, very good. And we don't know what. And we know what their secondary is. Their secondary is explosive. It's the strongest part of their defense. The problem with the Giants is their offense. Daniel Jones. What is Daniel Jones? Is Saquon Barkley healthy? We don't know where we're going to get the offense. And they bring back Evan Ingram. Is he going to be pot hands this year? Is he going to actually catch the ball this year? Then they bring in Galladay. He can't stay healthy. They paid him $76 million in the offseason. And then they drafted some good players, and Tony and different players that they've added, but we don't know what they are. So it's going to take a little while for them to figure themselves out because they barely played in the preseason. So I have the Giants as the third team, and then the fourth team, we all know who the fourth team is, and that is the Eagles. I don't trust the Eagles. They have a rookie coach. We don't know who their quarterback's going to be sometime in the middle of the season. We've been hearing Deshaun Watson. If it is Deshaun Watson, this team could be competitive, but it's not. We all know what's going to happen right now. They get rid of Carson Wentz in the offseason. It made absolutely no sense. They fired their coach that won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. It makes absolutely no sense. And last year they made a big trade for a corner from the Lions, and he played like garbage. It seems like every star corner that goes to the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely botch their position. So I don't know what the Eagles are going to be. Offensively, they look like horrendous. Did you see him against Did you see him against the Patriots in the preseason? They got shut out, 35-0. Horrendous. So I think the Eagles are going to be horrendous. I think they're going to be a top 3 draft pick team this year in this year's coming draft. So I have the Eagles as the worst team in the division. I'd be very surprised if they win more than 4 games.
The NFC East in the preseason looked like the NFC East of last year. Washington was the only team to win a game.
Absolutely. So now we'll go in the AFC East. Go ahead, Beef.
AFC East. All right. Well, with Mac Jones starting with the Patriots, I'm going to start with them. I mean, he was definitely the right fit for that team. I mean, you saw the way he played in preseason and the weapons that he has now around him with the Patriots spending all that money in free agency. I'm going to pick the Patriots to win that division. They'll probably get maybe 11, 12 wins maybe. The Bills are going to finish second place.
Hold on one second. I got to cut in for a second. So you think the Patriots are going to win the division because of Mac Jones?
Yes.
That's it.
Mac Jones and
that's it.
And all the weapons he has.
A rookie quarterback.
Yes.
You're going to bet on a rookie quarterback.
Yes, I am.
And I'll tell you this right now. A rookie quarterback that I really like. I think he's a very accurate quarterback. I think he fits. He molds into the Patriots offense. Here's the thing. You have a bunch of players that you brought in free agency.
Yes, like I just
you
said.
don't know. We don't know if Hunter Henry's going to stay healthy. We don't know if Jonnu Smith is going to stay healthy.
Right now, they're all healthy.
Right now.
Okay,
right now.
So?
And who's their star wide receiver this year?
Who's their star wide receiver?
Who's their star wide receiver this year?
They don't need a star wide receiver.
What do you mean
they
don't need? You have a rookie quarterback.
They'll be
you don't have a star wide receiver that can catch the ball? How about this? Do you think what's his name again?
N'Keal Harry, but he wants to be traded. So I don't know how much he's going to play.
So, who do they have that can catch the ball? And here's the bet. Here's another bet. What is this defense going to be in the front seven? They added a lot of pieces in the offseason. Do all these pieces fit defensively for the Patriots going into the season?
Taking a gamble on them.
Whatever.
I'm taking the gamble on them.
That's not a good enough answer when you're going to bet on a rookie quarterback to do everything. I think it's crazy.
Why?
I just think it's crazy. Go ahead.
Right. So
Go ahead.
They're going to win that division.
All right.
I'm very intrigued to see how Zach Wilson's going to do with the Jets because everyone knows I'm not a big fan of him. I still think the Jets should have stuck with Sam Darnold because they never gave that guy a chance to succeed with the Jets. I mean,
it sure looks right. He looks good for preseason right now. For Carolina.
Yes, he has looked.
He
good.
looks terrible.
Who was Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold has looked terrible.
I didn't watch any games, so
he's looked terrible.
Yeah, but I still think they made a mistake with Sam Darnold because they didn't get a chance to mold him into the player that he should have became with the Jets. But I mean, I like what the Jets did. They added a lot of key players. I mean, they spent their money wisely.
They didn't spend any money.
Well, they spent a little bit.
They saved
value contracts.
Value contracts.
Yes.
They did not spend a lot of money.
Yeah, you want to put it in that terms, fine.
They're going to have $68 million next year.
Yeah, I know they're still going to have a lot of money. But they value their money the right way.
Well, they lost Carl Lawson for the season, so that value was bad.
Yes.
I mean, there were certain players that they brought back or brought in that obviously are not going to be very valued because they're going to miss the whole season.
Yeah. But, again, you got another rookie quarterback, and we'll see what he does. I mean...
So you have them
No,
as
I
a
have
second?
them. No, I have third.
Okay.
And
we
I
have a second.
Bills.
Okay.
So it was really the lot...
Why don't you have the Bills as the number one team in that division?
Because I have the Patriots.
But why? Why wouldn't you pick the Bills to be the number one team?
I think
They're the more talented team
They
than
are
the
the more
Patriots.
talented team, but I think Josh Allen's going to fall off a little bit this year than last year.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So a lot of people are predicting that Josh Allen's going to have the best season of his career, especially what he did last year. You think he's going to fall off?
A little bit.
A little bit? What's a little bit? Tiny bit? If he's a tiny bit, he's
they'll
going to
be
win
in the playoffs, but they're going to fall off. They're going to finish second.
Okay.
So
that's not a good enough answer for me, but okay, go ahead.
They're going to finish second. And the Dolphins, I'm very iffy with them. I mean, if Deshaun Watson can somehow land there, that's going to change everything. But it's either them
Even if Deshaun Watson wasn't there, they have added a lot of big pieces to that team.
They have.
That's still a top defense, and they have an explosive offense now that they added Jalen Waddle and some of the players that they've added in the offseason offensively. And they have two really good running backs.
Yeah, they do, but I'm not sold on their quarterback at all.
That's fine.
I'm not sold.
How are you sold on a rookie quarterback right now, Mac Jones, who hasn't even taken a snap?
He's looked really good in preseason.
Preseason is not the regular season.
Same thing when you said Zach Jones has looked really good, too.
What do you mean, Zach Wilson?
Wilson, sorry.
I never said Zach Wilson's going to have a great year.
No, but you said he looked good.
He looked good. That doesn't mean
anything.
anything.
So does Mac Jones. Sure it does.
Yeah. Have you heard Tony Romo speak and preach about Mac Jones like he did about Zach Wilson?
No.
Okay.
Never
So
Romo.
what makes you think that Mac Jones is going to have a better season than Josh Allen?
I just like the way he looked. He looks comfortable. He looks like he belongs. He looks like he fits. And that offense is very simple to run with Belichick. So he's going to have a good year.
All right. Go ahead, Speedy.
All right, so number 4, I'm going to take the Jets with the loss and injury. Probably now, I'll say 6-11 team. Their defense is good up the middle, very good when they're healthy. The question is, how healthy will they be? All those guys are a bunch of injury question marks. Salah will help it a little bit, not be atrocious, but it's still a below-average defense. The offense will be nice, though. They have a lot of weapons. Great offensive line that they definitely improved. I think Zach Wilson will have a nice year. He'll have some growing pains with turnovers at times, but he was very accurate. So I think they'll be last. They'll be a competitive team. They'll lose some close games here and there, but they'll still be a competitive team. Then I have Miami. I think they're kind of, I'll say 9-8, something like that. Their defense is very good. They added a couple pass rushers. They drafted one in the first round that I think was a bit of a reach in Jalen Phillips. They replaced Kyle Van Noy with Benardrick McKinney, so that kind of cancels out in a way. And Brian Flores will help that defense out a lot. The offense is where I have a little bit of more question marks. That backfield, Myles Gaskin comes back, but they don't really have much depth after that. Their receivers got better, but they're also very injury prone. And I think there are a little bit more pressure on them with the quarterback situation. If they get Watson, they might be the second team or third team in the playoffs from this division. But right now I have them as one of the teams out. Patriots are second for me. They definitely improved a lot. I have them as a wild card team. I'm not as high on Mac Jones as we know, as a lot of people, but I still think the offense will obviously be better than last year, and the defense will get much better too with the players. A lot of the players coming back. That secondary is still very strong. I have them as a wild card team, but yeah, Buffalo is going to win the division. They got better in the offseason. I think their running backs will make some strides this year. They were a little down last year because of injury. Josh Allen, I disagree with you, Beav. I think he'll be just fine. I think he'll be just fine. They added a couple pass rushers, too, of which I really like in this year's draft. That'll help their defense a lot, too. I don't think they'll be a 13-3 team like they are last year because the division's better, but I still think they're the best team by a pretty good margin. They're good experience and very well coached.
First of all, I'm reading what Snug says. He said Tony Romo said that Sam Darnold also was going to be a top 5 quarterback and not super credible. First of all, he never compared Sam Darnold to Patrick Mahomes and Dan Marino. Never. He compared Zach Wilson to Dan Marino last week at a golf tournament and this week to Patrick Mahomes. So I know what he said. He said that Sam Darnold could be a top 5 quarterback in the future. Could be. He said that Zach Wilson in the next 2 to 3 years will be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. That's different. So I understand what you're saying, Snug, but he absolutely explained it differently. And I actually said that the other day about what he said about Sam Darnold. He was iffy with Sam Darnold. He's not iffy with Zach Wilson. He was very sure of himself.